It starts from the construction and real estate. When the economy is bad, nobody's going to be thinking of buying houses. You want to just be able to take care of your family, and that also has an impact on employees, on the HR space. Um, in a couple of the last 2 3 years, we've had a very huge syndrome of japa Nigerians leaving, and I will tell you, I've lost a lot of very good staff to people migrating outside that also has, and being able to replace them has been a huge challenge. And it's almost as if there's a brain drain at best. At even if you have a 2-1, you can easily get a scholarship. You could travel abroad, you could get a job, and so you have to keep bringing down the requirements of people you want to bring into the employment space. Recently, we had to start using an application test corridor to start sieving people, because sometimes you do an advert for a role, you get about 300, 400 applicants, nobody qualifies. So the challenge is then there's a little bit of brain drain and ability of people to also want to learn the society circumstances on drive for money, and people not patient to go through the process of learning, acquiring skills to be relevant at the job is one of the challenges that I think my industry seriously faces. So there's a need for continuous training, and then what we've tried to do now is to just focus on fresh graduates, and then start a graduate training program again. We had that for a couple of years, we stopped it, but now we're starting it again to train new people into the sector, give them ideas, and let them have the expectations of what they will become. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please.
Yeah, what is said is not too different from what I would want to say, in the sense that the economy is generally affecting most businesses. My company is more of a conglomerate, not specifically into the sector alone. In fact, that's just one of these subsidiaries, so to say. So whatever we even apply goes generally. We're into manufacturing and trade, then the real estate business. And so definitely our policy, our HR policy is more from a group-wide view than just specifically to real estate. However, looking at the effect of the economy, yes, it's in the manufacturing sector, stuff, real estate business. People are not buying us before, so it's unlike when you have property in the market and within a short time you hear there seems to be competition to people take it off. But now it's just hanging there. Where's the money? But the business must continue, and so we are still in business, doing well, supporting. One of it is that, okay, from time to time, economies of large scale, scale, we try to support one business from the other end of it. In terms of the training, yes, we've deployed more. You've used more of AI, but I think I'll be more comfortable with the digital thing, since it's more encompassing. Talk of trying to keep people abreast during crisis. You can't move staff as before. Again, one of the peculiarities of our business is that we are differently located. And so you have more of our real estate business based in Abuja. The manufacturing is in the southeast. Then some businesses in Lagos. Sometimes you want this fusion. And so prior to this time, people will move. I say, okay, now let's move to these sites for physical training. So ever since the digital space thing has been catching up, we've deployed more of remote training and onboarding, so we've used that conferencing, and it's helped reduce costs and still keep us to interact with one another. He mentioned something that's interesting, talking about application. Sometimes I hold a little bit of different view when it comes to receiving application and people not getting qualified. Yes, education has been quite challenging. I'll be honest that sometimes because of the situation in the country, sometimes people are not even concentrating. But from my view, I think there's been more of a struggle that we want people to come in from school and just fit into work. I think there's always that gap. People should transit, and maybe because we want people to just be so ready, we are a bit impatient with screening and giving people chance, to express or find expression in the world of work. And that particularly pushed me into even starting a podcast. I think I started there that I call it Be Work Ready. And Be Work Ready is just to say, while you are doing the school thing, be conscious that at work, the expectation is a little bit different. Yeah, you have the basic education, basic training. When you now come to work, if you studied marketing, for example, it's not going to be as easy. Selling, which is not taught in the university, is what you end up doing more when you are out. If I want to come to the real estate and you want people who are in development and you have houses, you expect people to go out and get buyers, to reach out to buyers. Now at that point, they are doing more of selling, and what they studied in university was and then selling, sales as an aspect of it. So when he comes in and you're asking him questions around selling, he is at in fact the perception of sales to the average person is tough. You see probably the insurance kind of salesperson. You see, so people are like, you want me? If you ask most graduates, would you like to be in sales or any other? They will choose the other ones rather than say, let me go and face sales. So when people are exposed to some of this, which is why that is part of the learning platform, which I try to just infuse into the system as okay, let's have this Be Work Ready, where you now begin to let people know that there are other expectations. And that's that patience of saying, when you have so many CVs, they can't be talents. They are talent. About Einstein, we also see something that if you ask a fish to climb a tree, it will look stupid because it's not made. But if you ask a monkey, it will jump. That's his specialty. So when people fit into the right space, then they will blend. Again, that begins to speak to where HR will use digital thing in such a human way, so that people are fearing, I'm going to have job in the future. Say with where this thing is going, that means if you come to on machines, you take over the job of humans. It's not going to get to that level. It can only make us be more efficient. We are still in control. The world of work is the world of humans, just supported by digital tools and any other machines. I think I'll just stop.
Thank you. Well, you've already raised quite a number of pertinent issues there, and we'll come back to them. Yeah, the future of work, the future of HR, very important question. How do we transition young people into the space, whether sales itself, as tough as it is, why are they running from it? Will HR, sort of AI, and help that space? Can we necessarily help you by through HR tools, not to struggle with people who sell? I guess those are the things that we can go into. All right. Well, you're with data, right? Yeah. Okay. Tell us a bit there.
All right. Okay. So for us, in the construction space, our own challenge has been the rise and fall of construction materials, like the inflation has affected construction materials. We are trying to now getting personnel who fit into our budget, because we get this contract from clients at this particular price, and in the space of months, this material has increased like over 100%, and we want to stay within budget. So it's been a challenge getting candidates who fit in the budgets of the company based on what is happening in the construction space. So, but we've been able to navigate this challenge. We've been able to see how to get candidates via referrals. We make do with referrals mainly. Then we also mentioned we have an internship program, do some internship program that we started years back. We started that program in 2022. Yeah, so we try to get interns like coppers who are ready to come into the labor market space. So that has been working for us, training them. We have experienced team members who are already in the industry who provide support for these interns. So that we are grooming young people into the system. So basically, that's what has been happening in the construction industry.
Thank you. If I come back, I think because you have more of a business outlook to this, as a business owner. And the bigger question, because he's touched to someone, and I want us to just get back to it from your perspective, is HR itself in danger? Would you, because he talks to them on a podcast, and it's one work Regenesys platform already says, this is prepare yourself, this and this and this. But did you say that being a business owner and looking at the challenges that face the industry, would we need, let's say, 5-10 years from now, HR professionals, or can we do without them?
Thank you. Actually, in 2015, I didn't have an HR department then. So I went for a course at Stanford, and I met a guy who was just about 32 years. He had about 3,000 employees. So I was asking him, how do you cope with 3,000? My employees were just barely 60 something, and I was going crazy. And he gave me a book, Scaling Up. He told me to buy a book by Van Hamish. So I read the book, and I saw the need to see that for my business to grow, my first focus should be the people. Before strategy, before execution, before cash flow, it should be the people. So I started an HR department at that time. I had one HR professional. I changed my recruitment process. They changed the requirements of recruiting people. They changed the organogram. We did a lot of things. We got good people. Then I got a second person. Now I have a corporate affairs department where we have about 5 HR practitioners. So for me, I don't think AI would erode or eliminate HR professionals. If you actually want efficiency in the system, it is not the line managers that will make other people efficient. It's the HR department. So for me, we have quarterly performance appraisals. So they are the one that will set the metrics for every line manager, for the follower, for the team members. These are the things they are looking for. They are the ones to ensure performance. There's a limit to which digital or softwares can do. We once deployed an application, Bitrix 24. Bitrix 24 was a CRM, HR, performance, site monitoring app. We were using it, but at the point, Nigerians are very smart. They found a way around it. We had to go back to the normal traditional way. Okay, HR, get the reports, get the assessment every week, everything. And when I see that my team members are not performing, I look at the feature because they are the cause. If someone is not performing, you should identify on time, ask them the question, are you having an emotional situation at home? Is it a family challenge? Is it an health issue? Or are you tired of the work? Do you think you can do better in another department, in another role? All of those things, I don't think there are functions I don't think digital age or HR can take away from HR professionals. So for me, they're still very relevant for my business efficiency.
So and I see you smiling over there because you probably want to respond to this issue as you raised it. But and maybe when, as you respond, we also have to look at that question. What is it that HR does in a new era? Because you can see he introduced a system. He says, here we are, these are the tools, CRM and whatever. But it did not work. And now we're sending him back to do the traditional route. Is that a trend also? Where these AI tools are not being trusted or in the sector, they're not as maximized. But maybe respond to what you're hearing first.
Yes, so I would agree with him. It says that you cannot rule out you cannot rule out HR professionals from the system. Yes, the AI tools can help to maximize efficiency, right? But the human element still remains the human element. Okay, so the AI cannot be the one handling grievances, employee conflicts, knowing when the mental health of the employee, the wellness, you get. So we cannot rule out that part. You cannot rule out the HR professionals, but I believe in a system where employees also should also be responsible for their own performance. The managers, so he said something that made me smile. He said, when the employee is not performing, it turns to the HR. I would not agree with that in a way, because I believe the performance of an employee starts even from the line manager of that employee. So what the HR can do is monitor the progress of the employee via the unit head or the line manager. Okay, so we have been able to introduce like a one-on-one feedback. We don't wait, we do appraisal. We have a biannual appraisal system in Dutlum, but we don't wait till the appraisal time. We encourage weekly one-on-one feedback, because I believe that performance development, it's supposed to be like an ongoing process. We don't have to wait for a performance appraiser to know how the employee is performing. So that's why I don't agree with that part.
So and let's stay with you for a while, and then we'll come back to Shai in a minute. But you argue that therefore that the role of HR is still very relevant, because you do it very much in a traditional way, one-to-one, on a weekly basis, and do the counseling and ensure that the employee performs. The question is, are there any AI tools that are available to help you minimize that kind of one-to-one? Are there any AI tools in the sector that you guys have actually looked at that can actually help you measure that performance without having to do it in what is considered the traditional way, so that you can improve efficiency? He mentioned the CRM as a tool that they had, which is good. I think Shah mentioned training and development platform, digital platform. So already we can get into the space. But in the performance management space, is there anything, and maybe any of you can also help, is there anything that is helping in the sector?
There are so many out there, even within the ERP, Microsoft 365, Dynamics. They have this thing. But I think the key, both points, when he mentioned is the responsibility of the HR person. He said, well, I disagree. Yes, and I want to blend the two together because, when it comes to performance management, it's a whole lot. Everybody, every party there has a role. The individual, the company itself has the goal being set. Is it clear to everybody? Are my deliverables made clear to me? So once those ones are, because that's where you can now do self-management. In application, you want somebody that requires little or no supervision. Those HR terms we put. And so the idea is that you should be able to supervise yourself if you are not from entry point. Again, you can see these things skills that if you are talking of entry points, like when we started fresh graduates, obviously there will be lots of guidance and help. Then from there, you move into people who are a bit experienced. And so when you have set your goals, some of these tools can help in making it clear. And then you now know you can check yourself. Some functions are clear. You talk of your salesperson, you say you have a sales target, so he can track. You have things that can help you track on you, more like trackers. You can just see, oh wow, I'm supposed in this quarter I ought to hit this amount. I'm still here, or I'm supposed to have sold this unit, but I'm here, so I need a lot of catch up. It's clear to you, so your performance is steering you on the dashboard. So there are tools to that effect. The other aspect of it, why I say they have to return, is the trying to understand why the struggle. We have set targets. We started with the economy, for example, and say the economy is rough, and yet I still give a target as though I'm oblivious of what the trick the economy is playing on everyone. And sometimes I'm putting you under immense pressure. I'm now not being realistic by saying, this is what, do we trick this thing? Or do we just drive these people? Are we just trying to stretch them? Or we just put to them that that's the expectation? It puts a lot of weight. That's why she mentioned something like mental health. Yeah. And that's where we now come the human aspect. So that's why I say everybody has a role. Have you set a target that will just put undue pressure on people? Use any kind of platform. Nothing will happen. It will just tell you fail. And then you knock them down. And it further weighs them. And so whatever tool we are going to use will not, like I said, will not take away the HR function. It only revolutionizes it in such a way that, yes, we begin to change the way we do things. You talk of application screening, you come, okay, so you throw in your vacancy announcement and over 3,000 or 1,000 applies, you are not going to be able to do also. You get your screener by time, by qualification. They help to just tune it down because there's no way you would have been able to do it in the first place. Yeah. Those are where the tools come in to make our work efficient. Having brought it down to a sizable number for you, then we can start saying, okay, now let's do this. Then invite, probably ask one or two questions. Okay, there are also tools for, let's check the personality fit, the culture fit. Let's look at all this. Then they still bring it in. Okay, if you are able, if your boss asks you to do this, something contrary, what will you do? Some of those, he said, talked about smartness of the human being. Okay, likely, if I say yes to his, they are likely to knock me off. But the real person will say no on one-on-one. But in answering your two questions, it just takes years and passes through. So, this will be a good fit for our culture and everything. And so you bring it. So at the point of interview, which is why even when we've done remote, we observe that sometimes remote, as good as it is, it helps, still can be, for instance, I say, can we see your face?
You're not likely to be to get to a point where all those 3,000 CVs that come through, you put them through AI tools and you get the best candidate without having to see them.
Yeah, plus or minus. You can, because people can gain tools. It's a matter of just because the tool yes, because of the algorithm it uses,
right.
It's able to, like I said, they said the brain is made of millions and billions of cells, so smarter than any machine. That's why we're able to create a machine in four states. So any AI tool definitely will be created by a human or by human beings. So they put it together and piece it. So they can use an algorithm largely get you and say, if somebody can act like this and act like this and like it, it's likely to fit into your system. Beautiful. So that I said to that extent, yes, those things are there and they are helpful. You throw in a question, it drills you down, gives you probable answers, but you still have to now look and fine tune. That's where the human, that's why I said here is revolutionizing it, making us to just do the final dots and crossing of T's.
Right. So because previously HR was known for that, right? It was paper driven, with paper pushers, it was very transactional, right? And then it moved to a phase where we became business partners with the business, right? And people started understanding that actually we need to understand the business, right? And we know how to be integrated. We could sit in the boardroom and start engaging with business to say this is how you actually enhance the business through HR. And I guess now with AI, the question then becomes again whether HR is taking advantage of that to become strategic HR. So that strategic HR means we integrate it with what the business does, and we actually contribute in terms of how HR through these tools can be able to enhance. Now, is it more about the ICT tools, or is it still about the HR practice? Maybe let's ask. Is it the ICT? When you sit in those strategic engagements, are the questions really there now, as I've just mapped out now, this transition that we're going through? Is it about the ICT tools themselves where you're being asked by the business owners? Or is it still very much HR practice that you bring to the table? Are you dominated by, or do you find that there's too much of the stock, right, as well explained, all the tools that are there to create all of this? Or is it very much HR practice that still takes the center stage?
So for me, I believe the HR practice takes the center stage. These tools are there, right? But there's also a slow adoption of these tools, even in the talent acquisition process. So for us, we don't get up to 3,000 CVs because this criteria has already been set. We already know the skill sets we are looking for at that time. We already set different criteria for that particular role, so and we streamline it. It's always, we don't have a long timeline for that position. So maximum number of CVs we get maybe 100, and it's very easy to see. That's why I said for us the HR practice is very much for us it's still very much in practice than the AI tool. So you just filter based on the criteria you have put out there, the skill set you're looking out for. The budget is there, it's clear. We always come out with the budget open. So by the time we're looking at it, we already know this one will not fit or this one fits, like that.
That you have seen in the sector that are being used by HR professionals really to streamline HR operations that you can tell us about. The ones that you know, like that are somewhat unique and that have really revolutionized, as I think you said. In your experience, which are those kind of tools that you can refer to?
Test Gorilla. For the first time we tried the internship program, we used Test Gorilla to sieve out candidates.
So that was more in the recruitment space.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. All right. And then you spoke about onboarding earlier on and said, therefore, onboarding also, because of people are not in the same, for companies like yours where you're not sitting in the same area, you have several destinations, people are in different places. And I would imagine now that we also become global, you could have employees anywhere else in the world that you need to work with, right? And these employees can still work for you wherever they are. So onboarding is another one that you prefer to that the sector at least is doing very much in a streamlined fashion, right? So somewhat we can say in that cycle of HR, when we bring people on and when we try and look for them, it's not just if a CV is done through some chat GPT kind of manipulation, we should still be able to see whether it's real or not, right? As HR practitioners, and we should be able to have some sense of whether there's a job fit with this individual or not, based on the tools and the engagement that we have with them. And we still very much promote let's see them before we make those final decisions, right?
So yeah, for senior roles, after the first, we do the virtual interview, right? So we also do case study, give them case study, and we make them come for case study presentation. Then for candidates outside Lagos, we do the same case study presentation in our location wherever that person is. We don't stress them to come to Lagos. Let's say, for example, we are recruiting in Abuja, and maybe it's a senior role. The final stage, which is the case study presentation with management, has to be like a physical case study. That's like the final stage.
So if you pass on the mic, let's again take it from a business perspective.
So let me say something to the last question, the earlier question you asked. Okay, so I think irrespective of the tools that IT is presenting to HR, I think HR is still much more relevant. They provide the dynamics, the parameters that you insert into the application. So whether you're developing a hub, whether it's Texico or HireView or whatever is being used to monitor performance, all of those things can only measure performance of a staff, one employee. But you cannot also take away the physical, the interaction, the emotional, the questions part from it. Yes, I just wanted to add that.
So and these employees are now internal. We now have them and we've onboarded them. One of the things that we do, and we mentioned, is about training and development. There's this notion of now hybrid kind of learning. How widespread and how trusted is the system for you guys? I mean, even let's throw in work from home.
For training, I think it's certainly in more so because even in the tertiary institution, they already are adopting them. So people are even used to it before coming to the work setting. So initially it was a struggle. Say, okay, there's Coursera, there's Udemy, there's LinkedIn, there's even the free at the same course where you can just learn. Then was a big challenge, even if you identify these courses and tell people, do they go in, do they take it up? Then you see some people, the individual thing comes in. I want to learn this. Then sometimes you make it, okay, you should complete these courses before or within this time period, and then you check. When the virtual training then was people signing and concentration. Yeah. So you can see me logged in and the number of people, am I there? So you throw a question. Rose, how about what do you think of the last apps? You may not even answer. It's way off. So again, part of the trackers from human point, which you try to say, okay, these are the little ways people can say if I sign in, so you don't have them. And then the video to say, put on your video, let's be seeing you. We are doing it with video so that if you are seated, you are there. And once you step away from your seat, it becomes obvious you are not there anymore. So you don't take advantage of that remote system to do things. So as we fine tune by the day, you see that it only makes it more efficient. There will always be the human element to everything. We are trying to look at the power of AI, and something just crossed my mind. Said, how will AI even resolve interpersonal conflicts? Just so that's, and I was playing on my head. I said, so these are still the emotional aspects where, and which can affect performance. All we will see, all the thing we give to us, the tools we give to us are the figures and the level of performance, but might not point out that because you have some interpersonal issues, that's why you are not given the kind of support that will help this person to attain. So the child will always be there. If we are not too focused on the targets and everything, we always remember the human elements not to work, not to address it.
Okay, so you address the training part, so probably working well in terms of that hybrid work. But the workspace, when you recommend in the workplace the hybrid model, how has it been taken up? Has it been understood? Has it been accepted? Do people feel that the workplace or the managers or the bosses want to micromanage them when they tell them to come back to the office? What has been the experience in the sort of work from home kind of hybrid model, acceptable or not acceptable? And I'll come back to the business owners to hear what is the perception of the business owners in relation to this? Because HR has a different perception sometimes from the owners themselves. Let me hear from you. How do you handle this one?
So far, it's been an acceptable practice. So we try to do work from home for those staff that work from the office. One day work from home, and it didn't affect productivity in any form because this staff already understand. So we did like some sensitization as it took us time to convince management to accept this one day work from home. So please, you take this day seriously, not a day where you relax and go and do your own business. So far we've not had any cause to regret, to say why did we even push this to management to do one day work from home. So it's been an acceptable practice.
Let's see.
Okay, so last year my HR also presented the same thing, and we decided to give some people to work from home. Sadly, you call them, they are steering, they're driving. How? You call them, there's one excuse or the other. So it's okay, this is not going to work for me. After 2 months. So what we did eventually, we just had to buy buses. We bought about 3-star buses. So if you're complaining that transport fee has gone up, okay, so we're going to transport you to the office free. There's no excuse that you don't have internet in your house, that you don't have electricity. No, you have to be here. And I think so far it's worked. But we've had to do some adjustment for some people. And this is why I said HR. That's why I said look at HR when someone is not performing. So I ended up having one of our very reliable staff. We never knew she was going through some things in her family. We just saw that performance was dropping. And then it was later on that when I came into the matter to ask her, and I knew that she had issues to resolve in the home. So we had to let her be doing 3 days on, 2 days off. So she can take Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday to be with her family, set things straight. And now she's looking better. But we gave her for 3 months. 3 months, just work 3 days in a week for 3 months. Let's see how things resume back with the family. Those are exceptional cases. And this is why I expect HR to also interact with people when you see their performance not going well. You ask them questions. And when we know that maybe they have a challenge with accommodation, like one was coming from a very far distance location, and that was affecting his performance. So we had to approve a loan for him to get an accommodation closer. So that will help him and things like that. So for me, I think it's more of the personalities, the way the employees see that opportunity. If they use it very well. During COVID, COVID year was one of our highest jump in income year. And people were working from home. But then they could not go out. They were stuck in their house. But now you give them 2 days or somebody else uses as I want you to travel out of Lagos to something.
So it's not just about resources. So when they work from home, it's good for them to, or they become productive, as we know, and during COVID, you accept that they were productive. But it's when they have the freedom to do other things that you're worried, that whether that will translate into the level of productivity that you ask for. But what are the skill sets that we need if we were to say this dimension? Because ideally, what we'd like to have reduce the cost.
Now, Elon Musk, I was listening to so much about talk about one of he said, what I was listening to, I said, this guy, even in America, has this kind of mindset. Yeah. They say, yes, I like to see that. So it's a mindset thing. And it's tough. And once that mindset is there, you will interpret every action of the staff from that mindset of, oh, you are free. Productivity targets. Clear. What am I expecting to get from you? I understand the business owner mindset. We struggle with it. Because sometimes you are even in the office and ask yourself, so what happened? So you are seated, nothing. If you have been at home and I call, hello, you might even be in the office, drop your phone and you get to the gent. So I make a call and you don't pick. I'll be patient. If you are at home and I make a call and you don't pick, my mind does say, oh, she has probably gone to do some other mindset. So both from the business owner and the employees, this has to be clear. So you have to really make up your mind. This is what I want. And then you now sit to work around it to make a success of it. Otherwise, that's why I use that word, interpersonal conflicts or some of those things. Because once they are there and it's troubling you, you feel, I call it, you mentioned something like, I called and it was in the car. Okay, what if what you called for people aside you go in the car? This location, you didn't tell him to work from home by sitting down in the house. It's not imprisonment. But you know, the general flow is like, wow, you are in the market. Yes, I'm take advantage. It's not supposed you know, you're supposed to deliver whatever is required. And if it's on the foot, that's why I say productivity. When before we adopted some of these things, only to deliver results without being physically present in the office. That was what COVID was. So people felt with that understanding, we can now, as humans, walk around and perfect the system. But what we are trying to do now is to walk back the system. But because of the gig work, some of these things, it cannot be walked back because now people are delivering. IT guys are doing it, so they work in. Okay, you are a social media person, you can work from all I want your design, I want your content, I want this thing. Every week, I want 2 contents. Every other day, I want these images. And I'm delivering them. You see the numbers. And you are seeing it, and it's affecting. And you are worried that you saw me on TV the other day in Sokoto. They said, wow, so this guy is delivering this from Sokoto. He should be in Lagos to deliver it. No, we didn't agree about where I deliver. I agree as to, that's why I mentioned deliverables. Let's make it clear. This stuff.
There are different job roles for different.
Yes. Yes. There are some that can work
for a quantity survey.
That have to be inside.
Survey. Does it have to be on site?
Okay.
Somebody's calling you for a quantity.
Okay.
Somebody's talking to you now and saying, I need this quantity I need this paint, and it is on your Excel on your system, and you are on your wheels driving because you're an hybrid, it's not going to work. That's what I'm saying now. So it depends on different job roles. Yes. No. Veer off and park. When I am calling you, it's not okay. So a quantity survey, you may not have to receive one call. I can be in the middle of a contract negotiation and I ask you now, how many volume of concrete do I need? Is this figure okay? And you are driving at that time. How would you feel as a business owner? I will fire him.
Yes, beautiful. Beautiful. That's why I'm saying that. You see, it's a mindset thing. He could have been in the jet when you called, and he won't rush out. He won't. That's why because young mind just say go this person because of the horn. But I could be in the jet, and when you call, first call, second call, I said, where's this guy? And I just want to I didn't go with my phone to the jet. I've delayed. I've made it, that's also said I thought we tolerate it.
Yes.
Said what's the effect? Said delay. Said wait for me to bring it up. Which I mean,
now, so and this are maybe when I sell skill set and we have behaviors.
Yes.
Maybe it's also attitudinal issue that you need to deal with to create that understanding. Because if it is about commitment to work and I'm at home, I should be committed to what I'm doing. I will deliver on what the outcome that you ask me at any time. But you also need to trust that I should be able to give you the number to ask me exactly when you ask them. Right? Now, I take the point that this one is very different from different people. Different disciplines. Different sector.
Yeah, so I totally agree with our business owner here. Yeah, so I for me, it took me time to even accept this work from home, maybe because I'm a millennial, right? But when they came to say, HR, we need to do this work from home, I had to push it to management. So one is behavior, the kind of skill set you should have, planning and coordination. You already know that this day is your work from home. Why would you go out? So for me, it's having that sense of responsibility. If you have it, you have it in you. You can't, as in for me, if you have that sense of responsibility, it's easy. It's your day to work from home. I dedicate that time. You see that for me, I don't even like personally. I don't really like work from home. I know my colleague is here, but I don't really like work from home. But it just sets you on your toes. Like 7 a.m. already, your mind is alert. You already know that if I work from home, you don't want your MD to send you a message and you're not responding in the next 1 minute or 2 minutes because it's not expecting you to be on the road like he said. So
because when we say signing up for went from home, there are certain things that will not be controlled, and certain things that might get you disturbed. You see, if you not expect, I had the sound of children, I can be at home and I become insensitive to my home.
we're not saying you should be insensitive to your home. No. We are not promoting a culture where people are not free to now attend to their family needs because they are working from home. We are saying do the task you've been assigned to do while attending to other things in the home.
But then they drive out and go to the family.
Okay, but I want to also address. I want to address what you said about. Yes, I agree with you that HR is HR somehow supposed to be part of the performance of the employee. What I was trying to disagree was the main task, the performance of the employee in terms of the job role, not performance behavioral wise, because in Dutton we are fostering a positive work environment where an open culture where people are free to come to the HR to tell the HR anything, whatever. I see people come to tell me things that they can't even tell their own line manager, and that's how we've been able to navigate this and balance and that's correct.
In addition to that, you, we have this idea of trying to say the first line manager is the first point of human resource function. The idea is not to, that in recent times, is not to make HR, like people do it, come to discipline of staff, HR, come to this, HR. So people start feeling, and then line managers shy away from their own responsibilities too. And that's why when it comes to performance management, they are not able to drive it. When it comes to discipline, it doesn't want to be like, I'm the one recommending. What HR does largely is to ensure that you are working within the ambience of the policies and procedures of the company. And so when a staff is under you as a line manager, the whole idea is to say, have a good working relationship where the staff should be able to tell you, so I'm having, even before coming to HR, will tell you, I'm having this issue. That is the culture. You see that again, it boils down to the cultural set. That if we make it that we begin to let people know this is my team, because that's your first call team, your accounting, your finance team, your control team, your audit, whatever. Yeah. So it should be a good working relationship. You may not have all the details, but I'm having a challenge. I will need like 3 days off. Oh, now the guy may not know 3 days off. How do we handle it? Oh, okay. Either he calls HR or I say, go to HR and will 3 days. Well, this is the kind of issue with 3 days. Because if I'm not to hold anybody responsible, you can say, I'm okay with him going 2 days. And 2 days is within the ambience permitted by our policies. Work will not suffer. You see, the first principle is that make sure that the work and your deliverables will not suffer because he stepped out. So you won't say HR gave him permission to go. You gave permission and HR confirmed that it is within the policies.
So roles and responsibilities also are things that
Make it clear. Make it clear.
With AI, I mean, that is something changed with people that we've learned in terms of this, right? But I think one of the things we're saying is that leadership it's critical in terms of cultural transformation. Because right now the shift is happening.
Yes.
But then we need the leaders to have a particular mindset of understanding how this is. The leaders need to understand the roles of those individuals and they in light of complexity better, because then you have to ensure that your line managers or your main managers also do their part in this transformation in society. HR must create a kind of a platform with policies, right? Making sure that the contractual agreements are okay, but also HR must be able to help us understand both the staff members and the leadership of the organization, how this transformation in terms of digital transformation is supposed to work better for all of us, right? But absolutely, those who are business owners can be able to see the productivity and the efficiency, the reporting of certain profits, and those who are as employees can be able to see the benefits of this AI tools, whether they be from onboarding to performance management, right? And they can be done with it. I'm sure there's a long journey that we are supposed to travel on this. Let me take we have about 15 more minutes to go and ask forget to those who are live and in the room if there are any questions, because we've had a live interactive session and we've raised quite a number of issues, right? And maybe as a reflection of what's happening in the real estate and construction sector. In and around your space right now. So let's see if there are any questions or any is there online. Okay, please. I don't know if my mic is on. Is it for us? Is it we can people online can hear? Yes, thank you. Let's see the questions online.
Hello. So the first one from Maureen from Facebook. With AI now, would there be need for more workers in HR? A need for more workers, yes.
So with the construction industry, because the unemployment is a big thing. And right, in African countries, poverty and unemployment is still big. And if construction is supposed to be a contributor to our economy and to our development, and that's what is the implication? I guess that's the question, guys. What do you guys think?
Okay, so I think there will still be need for HR professionals, even in the construction industry. The AI tools might just be there to automate some some basic tasks, maybe time sheets, time attendance. I'm referring to the construction industry right now, but we'll still need HR professionals in the industry to manage other human elements that AI tools cannot overshadow, like maybe in terms of employee relations, in terms of grievances, in terms of conflict management. Even in construction industry, conflict management is prevalent in that sector. So in terms of so the human interactions will still be there, and human resources professionals will still be needed in the construction industry.
Let's say in the real estate. I mean, we still have to say okay. I think I'm 75 with a poor tax you guys.
So I think from the question that was asked, HR is still relevant. HR practitioners may need to add data science to what they do. Now they'll be interacting with a lot of applications. They might need to do negotiation skills that will help the human interaction. And then when it comes to the real estate, I think to a large extent, most people that sell now, the easiest way to sell is actually through social media. If you advertise on newspaper, you are just passing information. You don't get customers from newspaper again, not even from billboard. The most important one is through social media. So social media adverts are generated through AI. The way you design, the way you capture, the way your algorithm follows people that visit your page. After all of that, you still need the human face that will do the interaction, the convincing. So all these AI tools, digital tools, are only going to make our work easier, help us to reach out to more people. It's not going to eliminate anybody's role or work. So that's what I think.
So one of it is saying that because it's one of those things that a lot of data is now and there's a lot of we need people to analyze and understand and use it because you have to make decisions on a constant basis. And if you're not saying you need to find data analytics, you probably will do that. But it's not only just for medicine. Sometimes it's no one else actually not just the people in the past. We know that as the information officer, or those who are doing monitoring and evaluation, we have to actually have an understanding of data. In today's era, it's actually just people. Right? Everyone has to be on the space of understanding data. You want to respond to that question also? Or you are like this? All right. And then another question from online, let's see what it's does it been answered or not? Or
Yes, I said AI has created a situation where some job loss may occur in some industry. Will that ever be the story for the real estate sector?
okay, so it's almost like similar first talks about
Also try to point to loss of job in HR. Like, okay, are you going to? But all it takes is upskilling, just moving, learning how to use the new tools to perform better. It's not going to. So loss of job will only happen if you fail to adapt. This is where the adaptability comes in. Now we are all adapting and saying, okay, advert has gone from me knowing how to identify billboard spots to now using social media and then knowing the kind of image I post and having algorithms that will track my visitors and everything and then follow up from there. So it's more like transiting from newspaper to social media, just like in recruitment these days, from newspaper adverts to social media adverts and all the other platforms. Similar function, but different medium.
a quick one on last questions. Cybersecurity industry. What is the state?
What cyber? Because we have a fully established IT unit, so they handle. I know we have Sophos, we have all those just to ensure there are no intrusion into the system, to the IT system. So I think
So the sector not had major options where things have been lost. people are asking for money because now they have sort of all the data.
What I keep
Well, for cybersecurity and the real estate sector, I think anybody that wants to hack into a real estate organization will be looking at the data of the customers and then their portfolio. And then I think that's basically it. So to a large extent, you need to have a back end that protects your data from going out. So although we don't deal with physical cash and all that. So to a large extent, you just have to protect your customer data. That's it.
It's about data protection. This is not about data protection. Right? So we have a responsibility as we capture this data to actually protect someone. So it's one of the things in AI that must never be in the transformation is digital documents. Because it can be expensive.
Yes.
It can be expensive from a legal perspective. Right? Yeah. Okay.
And competitors could also take advantage of it if they're able to get your customer data and then go behind to start.
Actually make it a business to actually try and crack the system and find you. That's what they do every day, right? Interesting. Things like that. Would like to ask the question? There's a question over there. Okay, so I can speak to that in my part. The people in line have been going to get just put that's all. Just so for people online to be able to get your question.
Okay, so my name is Uche. From what the panelists have said so far, it's more or less have been established that AI would only improve HR functions. So I would like to, bearing in mind that those AI tools make HR functions easier. So would it affect? My question is, would AI affect the growth of HR in terms of research and development? Since AI is able to help us do everything, does it mean that in the field of HR, nobody needs to make further research because AI is doing everything? Then on the second note, because of the effect of AI, what should be the focus of research and development, bearing in mind what AI has done in the field of HR? So what should the HR guys researching for the future, bearing in mind what AI is doing so far?
You want us to take that? HR research.
Let me just mention that it's I mentioned something like adaptability, learning to understand the tools as they come and then adjusting accordingly. The functions will remain what the function, training will remain what training is all about. Identifying training needs will remain what it is. Setting goals. Now, AI will not set your goals. AI will not determine your delivery. We can only help you. You can only, I won't want to call it because AI is a little bit more intelligent than the garbage in, garbage out thing. But it's still more like it. It's what you feed it that you still get out. So if it's wrong from onset, it will not lead you to the right way. It will only lead you to the right way for the wrong question. So HR as a business, like we say, there will always be the middleman's function. It will be done directly by you. It will be done through people, through 1 to 4 to 5. But that function of moving it from the manufacturer to the consumer must still be done. And so that's just like HR too. Yes, we will now be advancing, learning to understand better, learning the tools and knowing how to apply them. So the application of the tools to our own reality will be where HR will come in. And so I don't think it will. So
my thinking, because now we have times are changing very fast. And what you applied 5 years ago may not be applicable now. So where I think HR will come in more will be to fine-tune the applications, the AI productivity to times, and then the things they want to achieve. So looking at Nigeria now, the economy is not looking good. A lot of people are having issues. It's the HR that will now go to the board and say, at what point should we stop recruiting? Who are the kind of people we should recruit? What department do we need to strengthen? Where, when the board says, okay, we want to focus on this kind of product now. So who are the people we need for this product? I think it's still the HR that will determine the job description, the personality of those we need for those roles before letting the AI do the work of selection and all that. So it is still going to be much more relevant. Like Roselia said, the HR just needs to be much more advanced, that they will be able to contribute more in the boardroom, and they should be seeing themselves more thinking like the business owners.
I think also, I mean, part of the response to what you said is that there's so many unasked questions. You think of productivity, working from home, or working from office. You know, how much research in that can convince that we actually it's better to go this way. So I think there's still a lot of efficiency. And sometimes it may be that Elon Musk is quite upset about this and he wants people back in the office. And it may be a remote, like is that data that takes down from his company, maybe have done a quick survey, right? And that's probably just the quantitative stuff that they give. Is there qualitative things about people at home, because there might be a better quality of work and quality of life as a result of working from home, or a kind of work-life balance. But that is not definitive until we have studies that actually tell us to do so. So we might actually develop, quantitative and qualitative studies that can strengthen our arguments about some of those variables. With hybrid learning, I mean, we've had the challenges of hybrid methodology. But is it best to do it or not? Should we still go back? Or we will actually have no choice. We are actually going to go online in the next 5 years. Nobody will going to sit in a classroom like this, because it will be so interactive. I will be able to ask questions, I'll be able to get a sense, and people will still be able to engage and will learn quicker. Time, how much time do people need to concentrate when they sit in a classroom for music? And we have answers to that now in the digital space. So there's a lot of work that I think can be done in terms of research, but also it must be sector based, because what works for this sector might not work necessarily for the non-sector. Let me take this opportunity to thank all of you for really for insightful conversation. And I think the morning it's actually made better through your contribution. I think particularly in the room, there are no other questions. And then also take the opportunity to thank you for coming through and engaging and listening. And hopefully that's something that you can implement in your own companies or in your own personal life. What I'm going to do is ask to begin to come through to close off the session and do the presentations on behalf of Regenesys business. Vivian is the manager, the boss of this particular office. All of you will be interacting there on issues of the call. I'm sorry, we'll just read from there.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining in. We want to say thank you on behalf of Regenesys Business School. We want to say thank you to our esteemed panel of speakers who took it upon their time and to have come here this morning. We know how busy your schedule is. We appreciate you. Thank you very much. And to our esteemed guests who are here as well, we say thank you. I believe each and every one of us have learned something new today. I have myself. And to our guests online, we say thank you as well for joining us. We have a token for you on behalf of Regenesys. We want to say thank you for coming. Regenesys Business School. On behalf of Regenesys Business School, Chinyere, please thank you for coming. And I will take a group photo, please. Yes.
In the age of AI, If I was the age of 85, this picture might find itself.
Ou sent us a whole snappers. No, I don't think it is. Sorry.
Just can't see the picture.
Please.
Very well, thank you. Sorry, that's nothing.
Yeah.